accordance with the University of the Gambia's regulations by the University Council. And in response to the dismissal, the Faculty and Staff Association demanded their immediate reinstatement. Otherwise, they'll embark on a sit-down strike. The government of the Gambia, concerned with these issues, taking into consideration that the welfare of students and staff is our concern, we acted as a neutral arbiter to resolve the issue. We're here to report to the public through the media the outcome of those negotiations, and I would allow the Minister of Higher Education, Prof. Gomez, to give us an update as to the actions taken by the government to resolve the situation and also the outcome of those engagements. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Information. The NSA, Deputy Permanent Secretaries, senior government officials here present, our brothers from the media. Welcome to the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. And good evening, and thank you for honoring our invitation to this press briefing. The purpose of this engagement is to provide an update on the ongoing challenges at the University of the Gambia and the actions taken by the government of the Gambia to address these issues. The Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, MoHERST, in close collaboration with key stakeholders, is committed to resolving this matter in a fair, impartial, and constructive manner. It is essential to underscore that the government remains neutral with no bias toward any party and is focused solely on fostering dialogue and achieving a sustainable resolution. When the crisis at UTG first emerged, the Ministry of Higher Education acted swiftly. Within less than 24 hours, the ministry received the executive members of the UTG Staff Association to hear their perspectives and concerns. The President was subsequently briefed on the matter, and he directed that it be handled under the leadership of the Office of the Vice President. Since then, the government has facilitated multiple engagements with all relevant stakeholders. These included, 1, separate consultations with the UTG Staff Association and the Student Union. 2, joint discussions involving both parties to deliberate on the way forward. And 3, the establishment of an independent committee chaired by the Labor Department to mediate and develop actionable solutions agreed upon by all parties. Regrettably, progress was hindered when one of the parties did not attend the committee's sessions, resulting in a delay in implementing the proposed solutions. Despite this setback, the government remains unwavering in its commitment to dialogue and peaceful resolution. To de-escalate tensions, the government has engaged both students and staff to propose adjustments, including shifting examination schedules in consultation with students and other stakeholders. This would provide a window for constructive negotiations, allowing for the restoration of normalcy at UTG. The government of the Gambia firmly believes in the principles of peace, inclusivity, and the continuity of academic activities. To this end, we call on all parties involved to embrace dialogue and to work collaboratively in the best interest of the university community and the nation at large. Finally, let me reiterate that the government's priority remains the well-being of students, staff, and the integrity of the university. And I add integrity and sanctity of the university. We are confident that with continued dialogue and goodwill from all sides, a lasting solution will be achieved. Thank you for your attention, and we'll now open through the floor for questions and to be coordinated by the Honorable Minister of Information. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, for that statement. Now we would open the floor for questions, which will be preceded by answers. If you have any questions, just let us know your name, the media house you are representing, and the question in any language of your choice.
My name is Sari Jalo from the family. My question is, can you share with us some of the outcomes of your negotiations, and what were the key areas that the negotiations are on? And the second question is, earlier on there was an information that was shared with regards to, or let me say, misinformation. That is, the two lecturers, they went to court and actually won the case, and then the court ordered that they should be paid $3.5 million. Can you clear that for us?
Yeah, thank you very much. Just let me start from the last one. There was maybe a misunderstanding, let me put it that way, because the media concern is also a development-oriented media. So, but then the issue is there was no court order, because the case is yet to be heard. It's normally supposed to come on the 9th. Okay, so that will be the first time the case will be heard. So what happened is it was the submission by one of the parties. That's what was taken as a court order. But the reality is there's no court order for the time being. Okay, so the other thing also is there are other requests that were made, and the consultations with the students whose priority is their lectures and exams. That's their main concern. So then now from the staff association is their colleagues whose services are terminated, and for them to be reinstated with immediate effect. But also it happens that those lecturers decided to go to court, and then this is where we are. And to solve the problem, as I explained earlier on, government decided to come up with a neutral, an independent body, and chaired by the Directorate of Labor. So unfortunately, one of the parties did not turn up. So that really made life a bit difficult. But government still wants things to be addressed in a very peaceful manner through dialogue and so on. Thank you.
Are there any plans to solve the matter outside of the court?
You know, the first submission from government when we engaged the staff association was to those who took the matter to court to withdraw it from court, because none of us have the powers. If government doesn't have those powers to withdraw the case from the court. Those who took it to the court to withdraw, and then we now have a dialogue. Okay, that's what we submitted. So that did not work. Later, second submission now is to come up with an independent committee in which the staff association is to be represented. Even there, unfortunately, one of the parties did not turn up. So this is where we are. But in essence, as you must have seen, government wants dialogue. Government wants to ensure that this is addressed in a very peaceful manner, because education is the priority of this government.
Yeah.
Thank you. So from your engagement, what I heard from what you said, it means exams that was scheduled to take place this Monday at the university is now being called off. And when is the exam expected to take place?
No, as in my statement, I indicated that it will be done in consultation with the students and other stakeholders, so that we now come up with a better date. So, but for the time being, based on this, this situation, the students are not in, a good number of them, in a state of mind to start the exams on Monday. So it will not be fair to them. So they need to be given space and time to do their revision normally, and then now come in a very relaxed manner, do their exams. So that's what we want to, because at the end of the day, we exist because there are students. If there's no student, there will be no Minister of Higher Education. Yeah. So that's the main objective. And then the interest of other stakeholders. So there will be consultation.
So, because from your first engagement, where the other party, that is the staff association, their stand was for you or for the university to reinstate the two rectors who are dismissed, and then so that government will also negotiate and then take the matter from court. So all those things were not met. The matter was not taken from court, and their members are not reinstated. So the proposal that we're taking, that the committee will be established to be able to dismiss that. So even with that, we've seen that the first thing, which is some of the agreement, one of them was for the strike to be called off and the lectures to resume, has not happened. The lectures are not resumed to work. So, and also the other one is for both parties to take part or to give way for the labor department to do their work. And you said the other party did not form their party did not come. So that means that is also not going right ahead. So the way that you are taking, the time that you are taking for negotiation, what is it premise on? Is it premise on the findings of this committee established?
Thank you very much, Tabor. I think this is it's not a very complex matter. First of all, we would like to thank the Staff Association and the Students' Union, the UTGSU, for being very cooperative during discussions. Whenever we call them to the Vice President's office to discuss, they always come on time and with patience would discuss. Now, government here was playing the role of a neutral arbiter. Remember, the university has a governing body called the University Governing Council. Now, when they take a decision to dismiss two staff based on procedures and processes within the university, only a process can be followed also to reinstate those staff. The final meeting we had with the Staff Association, we had an agreement that we'll set up a committee to review, because what they want is for reinstatement. But to give reinstatement at least some legal backing, the agreement was amongst both the government side and the Staff Association that we set up a committee to review the process of dismissal. Just a review process, so that we know exactly whether the dismissal was done following due process or not. At least that could advise us. And we all agreed, and the Staff Association chairperson and the secretary who was at the meeting agreed now they will suspend the strike action pending the review for 48 hours to Friday today. I think we met on Tuesday. That from Tuesday, there will be a review committee to review the dismissal. And in the meantime, the association will suspend, not cancel, suspend the action till Friday. That if by Friday nothing is satisfactory, then they can resume their strike. And we agreed on that. So when they went back to convey this message to the general staff body, the general staff body decided otherwise, that they will still embark on strike until the reinstatement happens. Now, the idea was that during this committee will engage all the stakeholders. In fact, the UTG-FS had a representative in this committee. When the management of the UTG was called by the committee for hearing, they came and they listened and they presented all their facts. But when they called Dr. Ali Jiban and Dr. Mataranja to come for hearing, they refused to come. So that makes the job of the committee very difficult, because if you hear from one side, you need to hear from the other side so you can make an objective decision. But now, because of non-cooperation from these two gentlemen to come and take part in the hearing of the committee, that made the work difficult and it stalled the work of the committee. And right now, we could not make any decision because the committee could not complete its work because of the failure of the two gentlemen to appear before the committee. So as we speak, government is leaving all options open, but His Excellency the President is very clear that he wants a negotiation and dialogue to resolve this issue.
So, Mr. so we know that one of the issues that made them in that is the dismissal of their lecturers, and they went to the University of the Gambia and they defended those postulations on Monday. So we've seen how it went out. The police, in fact, came out yesterday to say there was a mishandling by one of their people and they're investigating the issue. So one of the students that we talked to during that protest was saying that they remember a protest happened, a similar protest at the university, and you were in charge of the Vice Chancellor's office. And when those people protested, when they came to the premises, you came out and then you listened to them and get their position. But this time around, they've been there from 9 to 7 o'clock. The Vice Chancellor never come out, and they said that is like a disrespect to the students of the UT. So do you think the VC should have come out of the his students instead of not considering them to have a mandate to come? It least depends on.
Well, remember by the way, there are two press conferences that you have from the factions of some factions from the students, a group of students who came out, as you said, and then you also have the student union executive and the sub-associations, okay? So you have two categories, and it's normal. You are in a university. A university is not a dara or a catechumen class. There, when God speaks, nobody questions. But in a university, you question the logic. I know sometimes it disturbs many people who do not understand. You need to also allow students and lecturers also to express themselves. The moment they do it with decorum, okay, nobody has problem with that, okay, but let it be done with decorum. But for them to express themselves in an academic environment, it is normal in a university. So, yeah, some might be surprised to see whatever, but it's normal in a university. That's where it's a confrontation of ideas. However, the student union executive had an agreement, and the Honorable Minister of Information Right, they explained to you, they were the first to decide to go on strike. And because they were called to answer come and respond to the Gambia government at the office of the Vice President on the instruction of His Excellency the President. And they are reminded that that office is the office of the Republic. It's our office, all of us. So that whatever they do, they need to look at national interest. So because their objective is about exams, lectures and exams, the government is now trying to work on that so that it is solved. So therefore, they were asked to just work with us so that we find a solution, which they did. So, but then unfortunately, there was some misunderstanding. There was another group also that came up and made also some noise. But the essence is, we are out for negotiation. We are out to speak to the different parties and also find a lasting solution. So last time when I could vividly remember, because I was just acting. I think I was in my first week or whatever, as acting vice chancellor at that time. I came out. You see? So I faced them, I received the petition. I allowed, because I understand, it's the mindset. We are in a university. Because in my class, remember some of you who were at UTG, at the end of the semester, I asked students to criticize my lectures. To criticize, because what I'm saying is not coming from the Quran, neither from the Bible. So it's subject to scrutiny. This is the university. So I don't have the final say on that. So therefore, we have to allow people also to express themselves. The only thing we normally say, let it be done with decorum. Say your opinion. And that's the reason why, in fact, this government is also allowing people to express themselves. But what we are saying is with decorum, so that remember, we are the Gambia, peaceful Gambia, smiling coast. Let's continue smiling. Let us not be a stressful nation, right? So that's the objective.
My final question, sorry. My final question. So now that you said the university is an environment where people can express themselves, so and these students came out to do that exactly. So the act of the police, would you want to take this opportunity as the Minister of Higher Education and then since they themselves came out to say something?
No, but you've seen the police, their press release. So they've responded. And that shows you that it is taken seriously by the High Command. So, you see, in fact, they could have used force like in other places and other times and so on, but no. You could see that. But and their press release came and they explained that. And even the way, up till now, you know that you were here some years ago, and then you saw what happens elsewhere. You saw the state has the power. Hobbes, for those of you doing pol science, remember, Hobbes said the state is a leviathan. But you notice that they did not do that. They're still negotiating. Because remember, what these police officers, these government officials, their children are at the University of the Gambia. They're paying tuition fees. They don't want to pay in vain. So that's the reason why, and in fact, some are saying, why is government not acting, not doing? Because government wants peace. And we want to ensure that everybody understands that, and then we have a lasting solution.
I think we have to commend the police, the security forces, for exercising restraint and for being professional all throughout. This was an accidental release. And other investigations are on, but it was a long day. But I think by and large, the police acted very professionally, very jovial with the student, and were there you could see the pictures. I mean, images don't lie, in terms of their professionality, in terms of being very nice to the student, in terms of exercising restraint. It was an accidental release at the tail end of and these things can happen, but the police are investigating this. Like Prof said, the police are always here to support. And the police works for the state, and the government doesn't want any confrontation in this matter. We just want to resolve this in a very peaceful and amicable way.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes. Government wants this to be solved in a very peaceful manner. The issue has been going on since July. Yes, based on the letter we received, July, when the minister, wrote a letter to the two lecturers, and then it has been going on. Several letters were sent, and then a panel was set up, for the issue, like the allegations leveled against the two lecturers, with the two lecturers, described as, malicious, because they said the university's allegation of their allegations that, they were misconducted, they were acting, unprofessional as lecturers. And then the panels were set up. And then those panels, they described those panels as, biased, because they said people that are part of the allegations are the same people sitting as panel. And then the government is aware, the government must be aware of this, issue going on since July at the University of the Gambia. What steps, have you taken before this dismissal? Because the dismissal came in November, but the issue started in July.
But clearly this is an administrative issue. Government cannot get engaged in administrative issues, like government cannot get engaged in operational issues. Government can only intervene if the situation is getting out of hands, and we're here to mediate, and that is what we are doing. We cannot go into the issues as they were happening, because the university is a semi-autonomous institution, and they have their own governing council and their own administrative processes, and government cannot be seen to intervene in these things. We trust the institutions to function to the best of their ability without fear or favor. So therefore, this was the administrative issue. Government cannot be seen to interfere. While we're coming in and where we are keeping our eye on the ball, there's an issue. We have to resolve it, and that is what we are focusing on.
So, okay, if the efforts to solve the issue out of the court fail, and then eventually the two lecturers were given a go-ahead to be stated by the University of the Gambia, are we going to see this court order being respected? Given the fact that this government, current government, has a history of not respecting court orders.
Give me an example. Give me an example. Yes.
Aladibora's case against the IGB, he won the case. Still, the court ordered the state to compensate him 500,000. It is not given. Then after the Gomez, court orders were given for the land there, but it was not respected. So, are we going to see this government or the University of the Gambia respect the court order if the two lecturers actually were given the order, were given, go ahead for the University of the Gambia to reinstate?
The question is a preemptive question, one, and we don't answer preemptive questions. But I make a point of correction. The cases in point, if there's a judgment against the government has a right to appeal. If the appeal is on, nothing can be effected. Now, there was a judgment against the government to reinstate Yakuma Jete to parliament. The government acted. So, and this was a more high-profile case than what we are talking about. So if there is a judgment against the government and there's an appeal pending, obviously nothing can happen in that case. So I don't agree with you that the government has history of not respecting court orders. You know that under the leadership of His Excellency the President, the court has become more independent and all court judgments are respected by this government. And the court has been strengthened and the courts have become competent. Therefore, I really disagree with you that the government doesn't really.
But I will also. Yes.
No, no, don't deviate, gentlemen. Don't deviate. We are here today to talk about.
I also want to plead with you.
We are talking about the strike. We are not going out of this. We are focusing on this thing. Let's focus on this one. What I can tell you is that the government respects all court decisions, and any court decision in this matter will be respected.
So come back to education, because for us, education is the mother of everything. So I know there are many issues, but you can ask many questions on that. But let us continue within education, and MoHERST for that matter.
You have been doing negotiation from the initial start, but so far, to bring all parties together, I can ask you to be the committee. So in their story, so I want to know what step or strategy the government take to ensure that you have these parties that are not committed in front of the committee. What strategy is the government using to ensure that there's a dialogue so that this issue can be resolved and then elections can be resolved?
Well, the government is leaving all options open as for now. With the staff association together with students, and we all agreed at that meeting that we a committee established to review the dismissals and advise us as we move forward. Now, the work of the committee was frustrated and stalled by the refusal of one of the parties to appear. That's the case now, and we leave all options open. We'll explore all these options to ensure that there is a peaceful and swift resolution to this issue. Prof, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, that's the objective. As I stated earlier on, in other places and so on, people will act differently. But you must have seen yourselves. One of you said last time students were there up to 5 or 6 o'clock. And then even though they did not have a permit and so on, because government doesn't want any confrontation. But the priority of the government is to see how to propose alternatives for the students, the youths of this country, by using education as a tool for liberation, as a tool for sustainable development. That's what we are doing. Now there are issues, so that's the reason why we kept on having. Do you know that even on Saturday, I'm just giving you this info, even on Saturday, His Excellency the President requested for the Vice President and the other ministers to go to Banjul and have a meeting on this issue, even on Saturday. So it means people do not even have weekends on this. Throughout this week, it was as if there's no other activity. Just to show you how important this is taken very seriously. We have even some very important meetings that were postponed, some cancelled because of this. You know that cabinet, you cannot move cabinet meeting because of any other issue. But because of this, cabinet was delayed, and this was given priority for cabinet to wait. And our protocol says that any other activity that happens, cabinet should take precedence. So that shows you, and then also the message coming out once again from His Excellency the President is, let's engage, let's maintain dialogue. Because the President gives education a priority. He instructed just last week the Ministry of Finance and to send a request to one of the partners, I don't want to mention, for the construction now. The feasibility study for the School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, $43 million. That's what it's going to cost. You know, so among others, so that's a lot of money, and among other issues. But right now we have issues, but we don't want to use force. We want people to come together and discuss, and that's the reason why when even that the governing council's resolutions were challenged by one of the parties, for the sake of peace, he said, okay, no problem. Let's now constitute an independent committee in which the staff association will be a member, so that they will see all the necessary documentation and they will come to a conclusion. But if, unfortunately, even with that, one of the parties did not come. But that's not a problem. We still want to engage all of them, and that is the staff association, the other parties, the students, and everybody, so that management also, so that we find a lasting solution. Because you see, I know sometimes people want to make, try to go further, want to be revolutionaries sometimes. It's good, but there's a limit also. I always provoke you to say, don't bring the house down. The UTG is one of our houses, national houses. You bring it down, you are now denying those coming from UTG to proudly say, this is my degree. Because if you term UTG as a problematic and a mediocre and whatever institution, then what comes out from that is not of excellence. Then they will be having problems after. So that's why whatever we do, we need to look at national interest, one. Two, safeguard the integrity and sanctity of the institution. That's what happens in other universities. You go to other big universities, you later discover that at the end they build the image. So everybody talks about them. But when you enter there, you say, so far, at the end of the day, this is the university they were talking about. But yeah, because it's the branding. So, and for us, this is our premier university. We might have issues which is normal. We might have differences, and we are not bound to have to sing the same song. But let's preserve national interest. Let's go for dialogue, as suggested by the Gambia government, encourage, and that's what we are doing. Yes.
So my last question would be, from all indications, you are crossroad. Where have you seen this whole saga going to?
Yes, for, you know, we don't believe that we've reached the wall. We are hitting the wall, we are in a dead-end street. We are academics, we are government also. But then this belongs to all of us. Remember, that university, what is running that is your money. It's your money. Will you want your money to be used and brought down anyhow? No. So it means all of us, we are stakeholders, including the 2 parties or 3 parties that have problems. That's the reason why we want them to come together, for us not to waste time. You've seen other countries, our neighbors. You've seen recently, just last week or whatever, 2 weeks, they closed down the university. And for them, it was only 2 days. 2 days, they closed the university. Those students who were on campus, they asked them to pack and go. Vacated completely the university. You've seen in other places, they ended up sacking some of them. We want peace. Yes, it doesn't mean that because it exists elsewhere. Our model is dialogue. The Gambian way of handling it is dialogue. Peace, because we are the Gambia. And His Excellency President Barrow, despite all this noise, whenever he said, dialogue. Engage them in dialogue. He doesn't want, he loves this university. Remember the students last time when they went there. They start talking, you know, it was not prepared. He supported them, gave them buses. When in actual fact, that was not part of their, but when they asked for it, he was so happy he gave them. They also needed support to do other stuff, he gave them. Recently, the School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences needed some other support in terms of furniture and so on. Instantly, he gave instruction and it was addressed. You could see the joy, you know, in responding to students. You know, so I would want to preserve that. I would want to, and that's the position of the Gambia government, so that we all come together, because it is our children who are in the universities, it's our brothers, it's our sisters who are there. And at the end of the day, even in our own families, we will disagree. But then later we agree, because it's one family, because we are the Gambia. One family, one people. So yes, it's normal. And I want to reiterate also the fact that in a university, it is normal. And you know your neighbors, you see, last year they closed all their universities for months. In fact, there are four semesters. Could you imagine your first semester, you do it in April? That's what happened to them. Here, our first semester is in August, September. But then, because of strike, they do their first semester in April. That's not what we want here. Because of strike, within 2 days, they close the university. That's not what we want here. In one of the countries also, they sack some of their personnel. That's not what we want here. We want to preserve the little that we have. So that's why we are working with all stakeholders to really support.
So I just want to clarify, this is when you say the company was reviewing dismissal and advised government as to way out. But one of the points that came out from that meeting at the President's Office, or the Vice President's Office, one of the points was that all parties agreed to respect the outcome of the review and amicably follows the matter of the interest of the university.
Yes.
So that means this body is not necessarily going to advise, but the outcome of their investigation will be accepted by all.
But that is the advice. I mean, if a review committee sits and reviews the process that was taken for the dismissal, they can only have two advices: that the dismissal was not in line with the due processes. The advice would be now reinstate because it did not follow due process. Or it could be that due process was followed, the dismissal is indeed in place, and advise that maintain the dismissal. And whatever it might be, all of us agree to abide by that decision. So it's still advice.
But that is a condition, right? If they are going to review and the outcome of the review will be accepted by both parties, that is different from they are going to review and report back to government and government will take a decision from that. These are different things.
No, I don't think so. It depends on how you see it. I mean, if you set up a committee.
This one is more of a binding agreement whereby the staff union, the staff association is there, their members are the party to this program.
Exactly.
So that means it's a kind of something that is binding on these people, that when the outcome of the investigation comes, we will accept it. If the investigation says the dismissal is in line, then it will go ahead. And that is in contrary to what is the demand of the staff association.
No, but you can make a demand. And yet, during negotiations, you're giving in your demands. When you realize that, maybe your demands are also unreasonable. What we are saying is that we all agreed, as a party, the staff association, the student union, and us, and the government, as an independent arbiter, that the best way to resolve it is to set up an independent committee to review the entire process. And based on the outcome of that review, whatever the outcome is, we all agree to that entire review. But nonetheless, it will also lead to more negotiations. Of course. That we can assure you.
You see, just to come back to that point you raised earlier on, and then the exam. One is we agreed, all of us, that we will now, it's better to have an independent body. That is the Labor Department, to handle it. Let everybody go. Let all the parties go there and defend themselves. Bring all their documentation. Why this was done right, or why it did not follow due process. That's what we agree. And further than that, we said the staff association will be present as a member of that committee. Okay? And that's what we agreed upon. And they started work. And the staff association was present. One of the parties came and submitted. And they all saw what those people submitted. But the other party decided not to come. But the issue is we will continue. It's not yes, it's a problem, but we will continue the dialogue. For the exams, remember, I told you, for others it's only 2 days. And they closed and they found a solution. Others closed for 6 months. And then later found a solution. Here we will later find solutions. But we don't want to use that approach by others. But we want to urge everybody, and all of you are stakeholders. The university belongs to you. And then some of you are also UTG students. So that at the end of the day, you now look at the bigger picture. The government's position is to see how to bring all the parties together. We look at national interests, and not to bring down the whole house. So that's the objective, and that's the reason why, yes, we can feel you that maybe things are too slow and so on. Remember, we are in democracy. If it was in a dictatorship, within 1 second you solve the problem. But now we cannot use those things. Democracy asks us to negotiate. Democracy asks us to take time. Yes, in that process, some of you might feel that government is very weak, government is this, but no, we want peace. Because for us, peace is better than anything else. And, and for us also, in a university, sometimes, yeah, it's good from time, not all the time, but sometimes you allow at least people also to be a little bit crazy. Let me put it. Yeah? So that's what we are trying to do, but the objective is to find a better solution. And I want to call on all the parties, the staff association, the students and management, to really understand that government wants peace, and government wants to focus on other development matters, and then want all the students and staff to really resume as expected. So we will continue the dialogue, and at the appropriate time, we want to believe that we will find a solution to this.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Kevin from Aston. As you alluded that the parties will also are begging any reason why they will not come.
Yeah, some said that because they are advised by their lawyer not to come, so they've really given their reasons why they should not come, and then also they feel that, as usual, that's not the best approach. The only thing that they would expect is reinstatement, and then they can start dialogue, but not dialogue and then or reinstatement after. So these are their views, and we thought that maybe an independent body would have solved the problem, okay? And then we address the issue, but then they saw it differently. But we are not that, we don't think that that's the end. We still that there are still possibilities. And that's the reason why we're calling on all stakeholders to really look at the bigger picture. We'll continue engaging them, and later be able to find a solution.
Yes.
One more question. For the interest of the students and their parents, can't the university or the government, have a conversation with the University of the Gambia to reinstate these dismissed lecturers, so that peace can prevail, as the government is pushing for dialogue, or government wants peace between the parties.
Yeah, but
that will be done without the review.
Yeah, but the issue is, you were told earlier on by the Honorable Minister of the Information that from management perspective, if they feel that due process was followed, and the governing council took a decision. So if you want another decision, you need to really review that process to now decide, see whether due process was followed, okay? And then from there now you take a decision. If not, you will take a decision, but based on what? It should be based on something. And that was one of the raison d'etre of that independent committee. That would have really helped to better understand whether the due process was followed or not, okay? And then now to open dialogue. And then the other thing also was to see for them to go back, and then we negotiate among others. So you could see there are different options. But the issue is, at the end of the day, I always provoke students, when you walk up to the junction, a T-junction, you have two options, go left or go right. But before you turn to go left or right, you should know why you're going left or right. You cannot just turn, especially from academics. Academics, when they reach the T-junction, they cannot turn anyhow. That decision must be informed by something tangible. And that's the reason why, as a government also, you cannot just take side like that. And that was one of the last options that we had before this situation, was to come up with the independent committee to really help us take a better decision, especially when the staff association is a member of that committee. So that's what we expected as a solution. But that was one of the solutions. We will come up with other solutions and engage them, and we hope to find solutions.
Any further questions?
So I thank you very much. And just for your information, this morning the new governing councils also were inaugurated, and the University of Gambia has a new governing council also, and chaired by Professor Fane and others, as an academic. Because I saw also on the social media, my friend, was asking to know more about, those people who are there. Let me use this opportunity to inform them that you have people with different backgrounds. You have academics, for instance, the Professor Jibril Fall, London School of Economics. Cannot say this one is not, doesn't have the background. He's already a professor at London School of Economics in the UK. So you also have Dr. Ibrahim Assal. For many years, the Executive Secretary of Codesria, leading Pan-Africanist Research Center. So he spent all his life on research and so on and so forth. You have Dr. Burama Jame, curriculum specialist. You know, that's his area, among others. You have Fode Balde. Some of you mind your English. You know Fode. So, and then we did not send him anywhere. Education. University of Education. So, you see and then you also have ESA, Deputy Secretary General, Deputy Secretary General of the Gambia Teachers Union. Remember, the governing councils are not only government representatives. You have people from civil society, NGOs, from academia, from religious background, and so on and so forth. Then also you have some permanent secretaries of MoHERST, Basic Education, Minister of Justice, okay, and then Minister of Finance. There's one that I need to clarify. He also mentioned it has to do with the PS public service. Why should we add him there when the Act is not mentioning it? You see, the PS public service is not in the other committees, but for the civil service university. This is common sense. This university will produce professional degrees for these civil service, public service, and so on and so forth. So that's the reason why the public service PS was also co-opted to be part of that civil service university governing council. Because what is going to happen is they're going to have a synergy from that university to change also some practices within the public service, because we want to ensure that in some key positions within the civil service, before you occupy them, you have a certain professional qualification. You'll come from University of the Gambia with your academic degree, then you go to this civil service university and have sit an entry exam. Then later when you qualify with your professional qualification, that will help you meet the minimum to occupy a particular position within the civil service. You cannot do that when these people are excluded. So that's the reason why they are co-opted, also their PS was co-opted to be in that, but not for UTG or for the other one. For the other one is the other PSs who will be there. And as I indicated earlier on, these are seasoned professionals who are there, who are part of that. You also have Cecilia Balde, worked for UNICEF until she retired. So these people knew education to their fingertips. So I just wanted to share that so that people will understand that it's a cream of Gambian professionals and scholars who are going to now do the job on our behalf, because it's a delegated authority. So it will now run, because it's the highest body within the universities. So, because the ministry cannot be going to the universities and managing them and so on. So the system is done in such a way that you will have, yes, their Senate, but also the governing council. It's the governing council that appoints, the governing council that really, approve your results and discipline and all those things. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And they will, in the coming days now, start work because their appointment takes effect from 1st of December. I want to seize this opportunity also to sincerely thank His Excellency the President, because all along he's been with us, following, and he's been taking note and giving us, advice how to proceed. And then through that also thank His Excellency the Vice President, and the rest of the team government officials who were asked to be part of this negotiation for taking their time. We want to apologize also on behalf of the higher education fraternity. I apologize to all these officials for taking their time, abandoning their work, and everybody concentrating on UTG. But I know it's because it's dear to them and because they want peace for this country, and that's why this is given the priority. But we have no doubt that at the end of the day, we will buckle up and respond so that we'll give them peace and so that they can concentrate on other state matters. So, but I wanted to really thank them for that and thank also all the stakeholders who came, the staff association, because whenever they are called, they will come. The student union, the same thing, and the university management. All of them responded, all of them. So we want to continue this dialogue so that together we find a solution in this smiling course. We want to continue smiling. May the peace of God be with you today and forevermore. Thank you.
Thank you.